The old 3-speed and no brakes.
Early on.
Early on. They did fix that, sort of.
Yeah. Went to a 4-speed gearbox eventually. So Merc Bits bringing us the 17-lapper for Historic Touring Cars, Just Cars magazine, also the category sponsor as well. Penrite, of course, sponsor of the meeting. Here we go. 2 Mazdas on the front row of the grid. Humble versus Hossack. The Mustang of Jamie Tilley right behind them, Phil.
Yeah, there's a couple of quicker guys further back too. I noticed one of the McNivens, I think, was well back down the grid.
Yeah, James McNiven had a couple of offs twice at turn 1 there yesterday on the wet grass, and Peter McNiven had a DNF yesterday, so they'll be looking to improve. Good to see Phil Barrow back out there too in the FJ Holden. Broke an input shaft in the gearbox yesterday, which brought out the safety car. So good to see Phil back out there in one of the fastest humpies in the country.
I see Greg McNiven, they're right, or away.
Wheel spin for Hossack, but there's nothing between them. Good start from Jamie Tilley, and he rounds up Darren Hossack, so lost out on the start. Did the purple number 18 of Hossack. So Humble leads from Jamie Tilley. Tony Hubbard up into third in the Camaro. Then Ben Wilkinson has been very quick off the line. So not a good start from Darren Hossack. He'll be looking to fight back very quickly in that number 18 RX2 on screen.
Going to make it hard for himself from there, but he's got 17 laps to do it in.
Plenty of time.
Wait for the brakes to get a bit soft and spongy in the Mustangs and the Chevys, and he might be able to round them up again. Of course, he's going to be harangued by the Charger from behind as well.
Jamie Tilley not mucking around and getting onto the tail of our race leader, Jason Humble.
Boys are already getting wheels up over the curbs and trying to outmaneuver one another as they get down around the cleavage. Car 18 all over the back of the silver Mustang.
Ben Wilkinson, the silver Mustang number 189, having to fight tooth and nail to keep the Hossack RX2 behind him at the moment. Humble leads from Jamie Tilley, Tony Hubbard third, then it's Wilkinson and Hossack, the battle we were talking about.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Darren Jones in the Mustang has his mirror full of the number 54 Falcon Sprint of Craig Allen. Tilley, the red Mustang number 29, trying to chase down the RX2 of yesterday's race winner, Jason Humble.
And he's certainly working the car very hard. Twitchy coming out onto the start-finish straight there, and he's making the car work very, very hard. Wheels over the curbs. We've got a bit of a replay coming up. No, we haven't. Or have we? Yes, we have. No replay. No.
Darren Hossack putting the move on Ben Wilkinson and gets the move. A very neat move from Darren Hossack. Goes up into 4th place in the Mazda.
That was a good move down the inside. Just bided his time and managed to work the way through.
Darren will be kicking himself after that start. He got all sorts of wheel spin. We saw this car step out off the line and lost 3 or 4 places off the grid, but now fighting back and up into 4th place after that move on Ben Wilkinson.
Yeah, if you're going to lose places off the start line, you're better to do it with too much wheel spin than stalling the motor. So at least it's not a really severe problem for him, but he does have the work in front of him.
Dom Leo in the orange Mustang number 184 has his hands full with the big black number 89 fastback Mustang of Andrew Lane right on his tail. So that's 302 power versus 351 power
and
for Lane.
Right down the inside, able to pull that one off very easily indeed.
So the man from Hog's Breath Cafe in Terralgan has just got past Dom Leo. Joined the category a few years ago in that immaculate number 89, 69 fastback Mustang. And he's put it to good use, getting past Leo to move up into 9th place.
A little bit of a drift as he comes out there onto the start-finish train. No, not very much out of line, but just getting that power down and the tail moving slightly offline.
Peter McNiven in the number 32 RX2. He's starting to put the pressure on Ben Dahlstrom in the silver Charger. Speaking of Chargers, Glenn Miles in the number 16 machine has been passed by Rob Burns in the number 70 orange Charger. So a feast for the Mopar fans this weekend, Phil, with 3 charges in action.
It's a good show.
Lane not too far away either from the tail of this Chrysler battle. Burns, Miles. Here comes Lane now, ranging up on to the rear of Glenn Miles in the number 16 Charger.
Is he going to be able to do anything about it? That Charger is probably going to be a difficult car to pass, although he certainly seems to have the extra mumbo.
Deceptive Charger, they're just as wide, and probably wider than a Mustang, but a shorter wheelbase, so they look smaller than what they actually are, but they are quite a broad car.
Yeah.
And Lane.
Looks that straight down the inside, very easy pass indeed in the end.
He's really putting the power of that 351 Windsor to his benefit down the old back straight and making that move on the same corner consecutive laps.
Yeah, he has the car working really well today, and as they come on to that short little straight between the back and the start-finish straight.
Meanwhile, Jamie Tilley has regained some track position and moved up onto the tail of our race leader, Jason Humble, getting his arms crossed almost onto the front straight there, so he knows that Jamie Tilley is right on his tail.
Yeah, it looked like he was playing with the knitting needles there. He was flipping the steering wheel backwards and forwards, getting through that corner.
A great camera work there. We saw Jason's hands moving around across the wheel there and looking up into the rear vision mirror with that red Mustang of Jamie Tilley
and
closing in.
He's working that Mustang really, really hard. He's got the car absolutely on the limit. You can see just how hard that car is working on camera.
Speaking of on the limit, Darren Hossack is starting to put the pressure off camera here at the moment on our third place man, Tony Hubbard, on screen now. So Hubbard, the number 24 Camaro, trying to fend off Hossack and the Mazda.
That a good. Managed to hold him out there. It's going to be the run up the back straight. Hubbard's got the legs up there.
350 Chev versus 12A Rotary.
Yeah, and Hubbard's been around a long time. He knows where to put the car.
Almost a local, down the road in Seymour.
Yep, spent a lot of time around this track over the years.
Joined the category some time ago now, originally at the wheel of a HQ Monaro and then moved up to the 68 Chevy Camaro and has been at the front ever since, but he's having to work very hard to keep out Darren Hossack in the Mazda.
Absolutely. Got plenty of gap on him up the start-finish straight, but Hossack will move right back up on him as they come through these S's. Wheels in the air there from Hossack, trying really, really hard. Hubbard out wide almost into the fence there as he came onto the old start-finish.
Fastest lap for Darren Hossack too on screen, the number 18 Mazda, a 1:36.6.
Yeah, really pushing it. He's all over the back of Hubbard again, trying to read the part number on the rear bumper bar, I think, of Hubbard's car.
Let's keep an eye on Hossack when he goes through some of these corners, hiking 2 wheels up in the air, and Tony's actually
down
waved
the inside.
Darren
Beautiful
through.
Pass. Managed the pass on Hubbard there.
Yeah, we saw Tony actually put his arm out there to let Darren through. He knew he couldn't fend him off, and it is a long race.
Absolutely, and I think it was the passing offer was acknowledged there by Hossack.
Yeah, and Darren put his hand out to say thanks, NASCAR style, so great sportsmanship. As Pete Millman, an all-black Mustang number 43, is trying to keep ahead of the Falcon Sprint of Craig Allen and the little Alpha of Adriano De Muro, who had a DNF yesterday, so good to see Adrian back out there too, and that beautiful little Alpha GDV.
Absolutely, as he straight round the outside of the big Ford.
Yeah, Craig Allen, that's a recently purchased car, the number 54 Falcon Sprint, still needing plenty of sorting done, sat in the shed for basically 20 years without being raced, so new to the Alan Mewett stable, and still a lot of sorting to go for the number 54 Falcon Sprint.
Now the Alpha being left behind by the Mustang down the back straight, the Sprint closing in, but he's not going to be able to do anything about the Alpha.
One car that doesn't need a lot of sorting is that black number 43 Mustang of Pete Muhlman.
Very
Club
quick.
champion last year, finished every race, every session. So great reliability from the self-built car, Pete Muhlman. Great work from his team to take out the club championship last year.
Car seemed to suffer a little bit of understeer as he came onto the start-finish straight. The Alpha was able to range right up on him, but the power from the Mustang just left him behind. Well, what can happen as we start to get to the twisty bits of this Winton track again?
Brett Ferris in the XU1 in the back of shot there, so he's slowly reeling in that Falcon sprint of Craig Allen. Craig Allen and Ian Mewett were both at the Bend last weekend. They've swapped cars for this weekend, so running as support category to the V8 supercars at the OTR Super Sprint at the Bend. Craig Allen took a win in the Mustang that Ian has taken over for this weekend. Speaking of Mustangs, Gary Finemore, the number 9 68 model Ford Mustang, previously campaigned with great verve by Darrell Hanson.
Yeah, all over the back of the Holden Monaro there, car 777 of Frederick Brain.
Fred Brain has been running that car for 25 plus years, basically doing it all himself, works on the car himself, does a great job. Very valuable motor car these days too, Phil, aren't they?
Early wish I had a couple of those tucked away in the shed.
Even the 186S is worth money these days, which people wouldn't have put out if they were on fire back in the early 80s, but they sure would now.
Absolutely. I did have parked in my shed for a while a 72 genuine Bathurst XU1 too, so it wasn't mine, but it was in my shed for a while, so that was a bit of a joy to have access to for a while.
Ben Dahlstrom in the Charger, having to fend off Dom Leo in the Mustang. Actually, Dahlstrom's got past Leo there, so he is now getting up to speed in the ex-Les Walmsley Charger, originally built by Rob Braun many years ago. So Ben stepping up from an S-Series Valiant, which he still has in the garage, so he is a real Mopar man.
Yeah, Dom Leo there through the sweeper now, trying to clamber back up onto the tail end of that Valiant Charger.
Dahlstrom actually missed the first race at the Bend last weekend with a stomach bug after drinking some of that questionable Adelaide water. Hello to all our Adelaide friends watching Blendline TV. It can upset the odd stomach, unfortunately. All that limestone coming down from the hills. But anyway, back to the racing, enough of the water analysis. Peter McNiven in the Mazda RX-2 just goes through on Glenn Miles in the Charger.
Yeah, nice pass too. That was a neat little manoeuvre. The Charger coming back down the outside. McNiven machine only got one eye open at the moment. He's got two headlights on the front of the car, but only one of them seems to be working. Now they're both working. No, they're both working as they move past the getaway car of choice, the Jaguar Mark II of Greg Menzies. Another name on the side of that car of Greg Menzies is Barry Stylo, who's the president of the Benalla Auto Club and the man who laid out the actual track initially on a bulldozer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Barry is a long-standing man around the Benalla Auto Club and is Greg's uncle. So a little bit of knowledge goes into how that car goes around. Car 56, the Mustang there.
Ben Wilkinson in the Silver Machine number 189. He is battling Ian Mewett in the Mustang number 55.
I was looking for 55 on my program and I don't see it. One of the late entries, I suspect.
Wilkinson previously campaigned a very quick E.H. Holden, probably the quickest E.H. Holden in the country in this category before stepping up to the 68 Mustang a few years ago, and has shown great speed in that Silver Machine number 189. At the front, Humble continues to lead from Jamie Tilley. Darren Hossick still holding down third. He's got Tony Hubbard, who's still holding down fourth. And then there is this battle for fifth that we're seeing on screen at the moment. There's the front two, Humble and Jamie Tilley. Nothing between them.
No.
With 9 laps remaining in this 17-lapper, brought to us by Merc Bits and Just Cars magazine.
Yeah, Tilley's trying absolutely everything he possibly can in that Mustang to climb back over Humble. But Humble not having a bar of it.
One of the hallmarks of this class, of course, every car has different strengths and weaknesses. When you put them all together on the track, you can see bit of an accordion effect. The car sort of getting close, then gapping, then getting closer again with their various strengths and weaknesses.
Of course, the big V8's got plenty of torque and lots of horsepower.
Just about to round up the Volvo 244 of Lockie Wheeler, and then next on the list is Phil Barrow.
And the old Humpy Holden, beautifully presented car too, I might add, the old Humpy.
Second generation Humpy Holder racer is Phil Barrow, son of Alan Barrow, who raced that car back in the 60s. Been in the family for many, many years, as Jamie Tilley rounds up the number 72 FJ. Humble's been able to eke out a little bit of a gap on that. Problems for Darren Hossack. So Darren Hossack, the man with the fastest race lap so far, was sitting in third. He has an issue.
And he's pulled off onto the inner part of the field.
Yeah, so Darren, with all his years of experience, has got the car out of harm's way, so there'll be no need for a safety car, thankfully, but very disappointing for Hossack with all that speed he was showing. As I mentioned, posted the fastest lap, was looking very good in third place. His race has come to an end.
It has, and we've got 7 laps odd to go, so or 8 laps we've got remaining, sorry. So looking at the official timing screen.
Pete Muhlman in the all-black Mustang at number 43, holding down 14th place in front of Brett Ferris in the Tirana.
Beautiful little XU1 rumbling around.
Brett, fairly new to the category. So in his rookie year, beautifully turned out car, as Phil mentioned, on screen at the moment, the number 19 XU1. Wearing those famous Sprintmaster style wheels, which are probably one of the better looking wheels on an XU1, I believe.
Yeah, I think they certainly look the best with those wheels on them.
And he's really starting to reel in that all-black Mustang of Pete Muhlman.
He really is. It's going to be interesting as they get down towards the twisty bits. Will the XU1 have that more nimble, being able to wriggle through the corners?
Pete Muhlman is
the inside line.
Really having to work hard to keep out that Tirana. Pete is the strike touring car version of Johnny Cash, the man in black. Everything is black on that car. His driving suit is black, and he said, "My heart is black."
Oh.
I didn't say that. That was his own description of himself.
That's a description. Okay, that's fair comment. Work their way up the back straight now.
Darren Jones and Rob Burns unfortunately retiring. So we've lost one charge. There's still 2 out there. Glenn Miles is circulating there in 8th, and Ben Dahlstrom in 9th. So charges running inside the top 10 as Jason Humble continues to lead from Jamie Tilley. Tony Hubbard is 3rd, but Andrew Lane is starting to reel him in that black Mustang number 89. Just going around the sweeper now, so a battle starting to brew for that 3rd place between behind Jamie Tilley, who's hold down 2nd. Here it is. Tony Hubbard, the number 24 Camaro, versus Andrew Lane in the Mustang number 89.
Certainly closing in. Much better line through tank, and that brings him right up onto the tail of that car. There's only about 1 car length in between them. What's going to happen as they rumble up this back straight? Hubbard seems to be struggling with corner speed.
Those tyres will be getting very squishy under the guards of that number 24 Chevy Camaro by the look of it.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly no problem with the power department.
These cars running, of course, not on a full slick. They're a treaded racing tyre, if you like. Hoosiers, Yokohamas, the popular choices. The odd Bridgestone here or there, but they're not a full slick like we see on a lot of sedan categories.
Yeah.
Tilley now putting the pressure on Humble for the race lead. Here they go, folks.
He's got him.
Jamie Tilley gets him into the S's. A very neat move from the Mustang driver, number 29. So Jason Humble, the first time he's been headed all weekend, but he's fighting back.
Fighting back. Well driven by the 2 guys. They're giving each other good racing room, but they're racing close. So that's exactly how it should be done. But that Mustang now showing a clean pair of heels as he works away from Humble.
Jamie Tilley on his first visit to Winton Motor Raceway, out in front at the moment.
A bit of a lock up there from He's gone off the track.
Jamie Tilley's gone wide,
No,
so that's
he's
allowed
gone wide.
Humble to get right on his tail again.
Back to him. Tries to get the inside. No, he's not going to give him that gap.
Totally different lines. Tilley versus Humble. Drag race down the old back straight.
Yeah, Greg Menzies in the about to be lapped. Is that going to affect the situation? No, they both passed him okay, so that's good. Mustang certainly got the legs over the Mazda rotary down the straight. Mazda rotary comes back under the corners, all over the back of the Mustang again. Pulls out, not going to be able to do it down there surely.
So it'll be very interesting towards the end of this race with 12 laps completed, which is
5 to go.
A lot longer than what we usually do in historic touring cars. And the interesting part will come down to, if you believe it, fuel, because a lot of these cars have not very big tanks. Don't think any of them have functioning fuel gauges. They all would have grinned them for this 17-lap race. The way they measure the fuel in these cars is with a wooden stick.
Yep.
So fuel could be marginal for Jamie Tilley, so we'll have to keep an eye on the pace of the Mustang as we get down to the pointy end of this race, as the battle for third continues between Andrew Lane in that black Mustang, number 89, and Tony Hubbard in the Chevy Camaro, number 24, just about to put a lap on Fred Brain in the HT Monaro. Freddie moves over and lets the fast guys through. Good driving from Fred.
Well done.
As Hubbard continues to narrowly lead Andrew Lane in that battle for third. Peter McNiven has had a good race in the number 13 RX2. He's up there in the top 5 after a DNF yesterday, so starting from the rear of the grid.
Yeah, good move up through the field.
Lane all over the rear of Hubbard now. So 350 Chev in the Camaro versus 351 Windsor under the bonnet of the number 89 Mustang of Andrew Lane.
Both around the outside of Greg Menzies without any dramas there as they're coming through to lap him.
Just rounding up the BMW of Hot Dog.
Ooh, Hubbard locks the left front wheel as they head into off the end of the back straight. Starting to struggle a little bit as Hubbard, I think, with the tyres on that car.
I don't think any of the V8 cars would be enjoying the diminishing grip levels.
No.
As we've posted 13 laps of this 17-lap journey. Lane again ranges up in the rear of the Hubbard Camaro.
Can he do anything about it? No, Hubbard closes off the line as they turn into that right-hander at the end of the old start-finish. Drop back down into the next one. Hubbard and both of the cars.
Lane nips a break, having a look at Hubbard there, coming around the sweeper now. Nothing between the two American pony cars. Humble, meanwhile, is again ranging up the tail of Tilley. They're looking at those completely different lines. Hubbard and Lane take through the cleavage at the top of the circuit.
It's really interesting to see the different lines that these two guys are taking. One trying to nurse his tyres, I think, is Hubbard.
Now Lane potentially suffering from some tyre issues with the back of the number 89 Mustang stepping out.
Yeah.
4 laps to go for the Merc-Bits Just Cars Historic Touring Car Cup.
Tilley's still in the lead with a 0.6 of a second, nearly 0.7 of a second lead over Humble.
Not much in it at all between first and second and third and fourth.
These guys are certainly having a great time out there. They're all over each other. What are we going to get at the end of the straight? Is there going to be a dive down the inside? No, hangs in behind. He's probably holding off for a couple of laps. There's 3 laps remaining. Not a lot of time to do it in, but
Tony Hubbard, as Phil mentioned, has been racing in Winton for many, many years. Sport Sedans, of course, was a real front runner in the ex-Jimmy Richards Big M Falcon Coupe. But hardtop, I should say, that he raced for many, many years. and then of course moving into historic touring cars some time ago, and is still known the fast way around Winton as the charges of Dahlstrom and Miles get very close at the old turn 1. We're focusing on this battle for third though.
Absolutely. Noticing the Mustang there with some black marks on the numbers on the side of the car, and we're back at the lead with Tilly in front of Humble, but not by much. Is Humble going to make a charge? How good are the tyres on either of these cars? I think they'll all be suffering a little bit of worrying over temperature tyres.
2 laps to go for the historic touring cars. Jamie Tilley eked out a bit of a lead over Humble, but gets right over the curb. Front end almost came up in the air over that curb there, Phil.
Certainly a couple of wheels in the air there, bounced off the curbs as he came through that right-hander, onto the start-finish straight. Humble exhaust flames coming out of the little Mazda and straight past one of the lapped cars. Good to see the guys getting out of the road and let these leaders come through. Tilly, wheels in the air. Humble, even more wheels in the air. Ranges right up into the back of the Mustang. Oh, sideways. Gets it up on the outside. Is he going to be able to stay there? No, he's not. Tilly still in front. Humble trying every side he can to get around. I'll try it round the outside.
Jason is not going to go home wondering.
And he's going to be able to maybe hold this.
Problems for Adrian Demuro and the Alpha. They just ran him up.
Dives down
Jason
the inside. Humble. He's going to do it. He's done it.
The old back
manoeuvre.
straight.
Up the back straight. Straight through on the inside. Really well done. He set that up probably 2 corners earlier.
Yeah, they just wasn't his fault though. A little bit of balking there. The problems for Demuro and the Alpha. And that's allowed Jason to jump in there, set the move up though, as Phil said. So what has Jamie Tilley got behind the wheel of the number 29 red Mustang? Can he fight back? You betcha he will.
He's going to try.
He's going to wind up that little 289 Windsor-powered Mustang.
He's got 1 lap to do it in. Humble now. Through the S's onto the old start-finish straight. Tilly right behind him, trying to go down the outside. Humble's not going to have a bar of that.
I don't think Jamie Tilley's worried about saving fuel either.
No, I don't think so. If I run out trying, I don't care.
Yep. 1 lap to go for Jason Humble. Can he make it 2 from 2 and make it a clean sweep for the weekend after winning yesterday's sprint race?
Wheels in the air again from Humble. Just a little bit of a hop over the curb. Nice and smooth from both guys through the old tank. Round the left-hander of the cleavage. Drop back down into that final corner of the twisty bits down the bottom. Now onto the back straight. Humble from Tilly. Tilly's got quite a gap to try and make up.
Humble getting out of the corners a lot better than the squishy-tired Mustang of Jamie Tilley, really starting to feel the heat, and Humble has stretched out the lead now on that lap, about 6 car lengths for our race leader Jason Humble in the number 2 RX2. Jamie Tilley, what has he got for Humble as we near the checkered flag? Jason Humble in the Mazda.
He's not going to be able to do it there apart from some sort of a blow-up, but there we go.
Jason Humble takes the win in the Mazda. Jamie Tilley, a great drive in the number 29 red Mustang. Tony Hubbard looks like he will just hold off Andrew Lane in the Mustang. That great battle we saw for third that went on all race on to the final straight, and Tony Hubbard will be third in the Camaro from Andrew Lane. Half a bumper between the 2 cars.
Yeah, good dice there between the Ford and the Chev. Great race there. Big hands together to everybody that's competed in that race. Ooh.
Still dicing towards the end there. Wilkinson and the Mustang trying to fend off the 2 charges of Dahlstrom and Miles.
Onto the start-finish straight they come. Miles got the tail out and across the ripple strip there a bit, but holds his position.
Behind Andrew Lane was Peter McNiven in the Mazda 5th. Ian Mewlett in the Mustang 6th. Ben Wilkinson, we just saw on screen, finishing 7th in the Mustang in front of the charges of Ben Dahlstrom and Glenn Miles. Dom Leo rounded out the top 10 in the Mustang.
Good effort. And here comes the XU1.
Brett Ferris chased Pete Muhlman in the Mustang all race. Craig Allen did a good job in the unsorted Falcon Sprint to finish 11th in front of Muhlman.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XRA.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's Home and Contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
We all agree now is the right time to start making choices to support Aussie businesses, supporting Aussie families and communities. Well, from their humble beginnings in Melbourne nearly 100 years ago, Penrite now sit as a truly respected global lubricants brand across automotive and industry. And the best bit, it's still 100% owned by an Aussie family that employs Australians in Australian factories right here on Aussie
Nice car,
ground.
those Capris.